Yes, we'll have a final critique on Tuesday, and then I'll probably give everyone a couple more days to make some changes. So let me just double check that right now while we're talking about it. Right here. Okay, so the due date that I have set is November 17th, which is, I think that's
a week from today.
That's a week from today. Yeah, okay. So, Jenna, we'll do final presentations. Next Tuesday will be the last opportunity to do a critique on it, but then you have a few days to make changes.
Cool. I feel like with my wedding, I appreciate the extra time.
Yeah. And then if I don't know if you guys got a chance to look at the final, project 3. I just posted that.
Yeah, I just briefly glanced at it last night.
And then I also posted.
Is everyone supposed to be in this chat, or is it just for Jenna?
Is it what?
Is everyone supposed to be here, or is it just for Jenna?
I just opened it to anybody that wanted to participate. I think Brittany was going to jump on, but I just sent her the invite.
So I actually took the time to do my work for once.
To what?
I actually took the time to write out my proposal.
Right.
Shocking, right?
Yeah. Okay, well, I'm going to let Brittany, and then Jenna, I don't know if you noticed, I posted an example of project 2.
Yeah.
Which helped a lot.
Did you see that?
Yes.
Okay.
I actually used that for kind of a template.
Good, okay.
Nice. Let me pull mine back up. Okay, so I know I haven't presented in a while, but mine was kind of for art museums for children.
Right.
Help them not lose focus and kind of navigate the museum. So I was calling it Art on the Go, a little play on Pokemon Go and Bang Go. So my summary is Art on the Go allows children to navigate the art museum while collecting badges, which lead to exclusive prizes. The object is to encourage children, even adults, to explore the museum and learn as they go. The great thing about this game is that it's ever evolving and will keep kids wanting to come back to the museum. The problem statement is children today crave interactive devices and often get bored in museum settings. The overall attendance numbers to museums is declining, with only 33.7% of U.S. adults, sorry, I'm going to lose my voice, attending art museums and events. So this interactive device will encourage kids and adults to explore the museum while performing tasks to earn badges, which lead to the exclusive prizes. So I did children ages 5 to 12 and kids at heart, so adults who want to participate as well. The description, Art on the Go, is for anyone who wishes to enhance his or her museum experience. Visitors can use stationary kiosks within the museum or download an app for their personal devices. All the user needs to do is set up an account and get started. At least 2 stationary devices should be placed in each exhibit near the entrance to ensure usage. Each exhibit will allow users to learn something new about the art they're viewing and will offer up a task in which the user can perform and earn museum badges. These badges are like any other points to prize earning system, so special events and prizes will be awarded to those earning badges. The more badges the user has, the better the prize. Most importantly, Art on the Go will encourage learning and provide an alternative museum experience. After a task is completed, badges will be awarded and the user will be directed to the next exhibit to complete the next task. 2 of the most popular tasks are what I was going to outline here. I call them Strike a Pose and Tell a Story. Here is just kind of a mock-up of what it would look like. Kind of in the sculpture area, there would be like a big kiosk type screen. And then, so basically entering the exhibits, the children would have the option to mock their favorite sculpture, which would encourage them to pick out the sculpture of most interest to them. So what they would do is actually click on it on the screen and then it'll show the sculpture and the child side by side, much like a photo booth. A countdown would occur, and then it would snap a photo. Then they would have the option to email it to themselves or share it on social media. And once they complete that step, that's how they earn their badges. Whenever they go to that step 2, there'd be like a brief information on the sculpture or whatever piece of artwork it is, so that they can share it. And well, that would also be sent to their email and in their social media post. So they are also learning about the sculpture while taking the picture, basically. And then here's kind of a mock-up of the first screen. So when they would walk in, this is kind of what they would see. They could pick their favorite sculpture and then sign in, and it would take them then to this screen where they would actually mock the sculpture, see a little bit of history about it, and then here's how they earn it. They have to send it to themselves or share it on social. I think that's all I've got so far. Yeah.
Zach, do you have any comments? I know you,
wait, what? I know. What did you say?
I have a feeling you do.
I do have comments. Why do you have this instinct, Julie? Why do you hate me?
Because you're an opinionated kind of guy. That's all.
They're much appreciated.
All right. So you say you have these giant things. Here I am trying to click your screen, thinking it is my screen.
Oh.
Can you go to slide 2, please?
Yeah.
So you're saying these kiosks are as big as the sculptures themselves?
Well, it would be kind of tucked at the entrance, yeah. That way you can get a full, because you want their full body to show when it takes a picture of them.
Our light thing didn't come with clothes.
Jenna, I don't understand what the kiosk stations really, why they're even needed. You know? I mean,
I was thinking the same thing. Like with Pokemon Go, you use your phone and you walk around.
Well, I was thinking we would be needed for somebody who doesn't maybe have a mobile device. My kids don't have cell phones, so they.
How old are your kids?
Almost 10 and 7. So they would need something
Horrible
with the
parents.
museum to kind of go from, or they would.
Well, the museum could. Thing is, with there are Android devices these days that are sold bulk and cheap. These devices can be museum loaned and they can be handed out.
Okay.
I thought about that too.
I think that might be a good idea.
yeah, I think that your game is such a mobile game. You know,
Agreed.
that I don't know if the kiosks are going to do much good. I feel like, you know, they let you use audio devices when you go over at you explore and exhibit. I would assume that, you know, you could just say you would encourage them to have 20 mobile devices on loan for people to participate.
Gotcha.
Otherwise, play on your phone.
Yeah.
Okay, can you go to your first screen real quick?
Yeah.
This is so stupid, but I see at the problem statement, you said it's preforming, but it's perform. It's like there's a typo in that line. Just
Oh
FYI.
my God, Julie.
I know. Well, I just wanted to point it out while I noticed it.
Okay.
I think that I like the fact that you are using some statistics to back this up. That's amazing that the 33.7%, you know, that it's declining. You should cite that source and then put a footnote at the bottom where you got that information.
Okay.
And when you make a statement like children today crave interactive devices and often get bored in museum settings, I think you need to back that up. I mean, I know you're a mother and you've witnessed this yourself.
Yeah.
But if you could find some kind of a research about...
I don't know what museums you're going to, because I love museums. I could get lost. I mean, sure, I have a certain attention span. I can walk through it within half an hour, and my parents hate that, but I love going through museums. That's one of my favorite things to do.
So maybe there's a statement about that museums have tried to engage kids or something like that. Maybe there's something that some research you could find from like some kind of museum periodical. Like, what are museums doing to try to engage kids? Is it a problem? Do they recognize that?
It's still warm, but
So
You can always just nip it.
just be careful when you make these statements that you need to back them up.
Okay.
I think your game is such a great idea, by the way.
Cool, thanks.
Can you go to the next page, number 2? I think this would look much more modern if you actually took a screenshot of like an iPad or something
Okay.
and integrated this within the,
Agreed.
within the iPad.
Okay.
And I'm confused about these pictures that you have in the interface. Are those examples of what's actually in the museum itself?
Yeah, so my idea was that basically the screen, when you first walk up to it, it would be full of the sculptures and you just kind of touch it and pick your favorite one, and that's how you act it out.
Okay, so I feel like all of your mock-ups need a little bit more context. So for example, we're not even going to be able to start to play unless we've signed in. So I would assume that the user would already be signed in, and I would assume that there would be a little bit more context, like you're playing Van Gogh Go at the St. Louis Art Museum. Welcome, Zach. You have 14 points. And then maybe there's a sidebar that says, can you beat who else is playing in the museum right now? Or, you know what I mean?
Gotcha.
So it feels like there's, it needs to have more in the interface to explain what's going on, to give us some context of where you are. This is badge 2 of 7 that you can earn today. You know, what's next? You know what I mean? It feels like it needs a little bit more information around it to help us understand what's going on.
Okay.
And this proportion is sort of odd. I mean, if I'm looking at an iPad, it would come, you know, there would be much less white space. The border is too much white space.
Okay.
So actually use a real iPad to make it look realistic.
Okay.
That was my complaint. Yeah.
And then let's go to your, and Jenna, just in your presentation itself, it's a little bit confusing to me that, like, you're talking about Van Gogh, you know, you've got a brand. Your brand is awesome. It's a very clever play on the whole Pokemon Go. So each screen should contain that brand. And in your presentation, we should understand that this sculpture game is part of the overall experience.
Gotcha.
I was confused because I was like, wait, are you changing the game? Is this a new game? No, this is just an example of an activity that you're going to have kids play. You see what I mean?
Okay.
And then in your mock-up, your final one, oh, there's Brittany. Hi.
Hi.
In your final screen there, it feels like again, you know, there needs to be a little bit more.
Do you have a lightning board I can borrow?
Like those icons look oddly
I'm
placed there
surprised.
because of the white background on the gray screen. You know what I mean?
Good point.
They feel like they've been cut and pasted. You know, they just look very odd there because they don't blend into the interface.
Yeah. Okay. I can fix it.
If I were you, and this is a little bit what we talked about on Tuesday, if I were you, I would create a mock-up of like, okay, let's say that as soon as I download the app, what is the first screen I see? What's the home screen? Okay. And then you might go to the home screen and then there's a prompt to sign in. Then the next screen, it's like, you know, activities that are close by. You know, it's tracking where you are in the museum and maybe you have an option to play this game. Then you get into the activity. I think you need a little bit of a flow chart to kind of mock up what the user's experience is going to be. So then you know what screens you need to mock up to communicate the user experience.
Gotcha.
I think you can use a lot of the content that you gathered and that you've brought into the space, but I would take a step back and think about the user's experience, and then that will tell you exactly what you need to mock up.
Okay.
I would think that in all of these screens, I would see the branding somehow of Van Gogh Go or whatever the game is called. You know, like in every app, we don't lose the context of kind of what we're doing.
Yeah. Okay.
But I think it's a really, I think your idea is really great, and I think it's coming along.
Awesome. Thanks.
Brittany, did you have anything you wanted to say? Do you remember Jenna's game? I don't know if you've seen it being presented before.
I did see the proposal that she wrote up.
Okay.
I was there for that.
Okay.
Yeah, I liked her idea a lot. I thought it was really creative, and it sounded like something kids would really enjoy. So I liked it.
It's definitely the brainchild of a mother who's taken kids to
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm going to jump over to Zach. Are you ready, Zach?
I am ready.
Okay, go ahead and share your screen, Zach.
All right. So here's my proposal for the Space Shuttle Landing exhibit. The summary. From 1985 to 2011, National Space Shuttle Program was America's ride to space. Ferrying astronauts, satellite, cargo, and even whole sections of the space station, the Space Shuttle served as the longest-running manned component of the U.S. space program. This simulation focuses on the final minutes of the Space Shuttle missions and guides users through a successful descent and landing back to Kennedy Space Center in Florida. The target audience of the simulator will be children over the age of 10. How it works. For this simulation, the cockpit of the space shuttle has been greatly simplified. Keeping the design and the aesthetic of the shuttle intact, controls and displays have been reduced to a minimum. The shuttle is placed on a final approach, and the pilots are instructed to take control for the final minutes of the shuttle's descent. Functions like landing gear and parachute are controlled by the computer. The pilot can either decide to control the pitch of the shuttle, just the up and down, or the entire shuttle dynamics, meaning the pitch, yaw, and roll. The main exhibit hall. The space shuttle simulator can be constructed either out of wood or metal. The software used for the simulator is a free program called Orbiter. Orbiter is an easy-to-use but realistic space simulator with the shuttle built into it. This is Orbiter. This is Orbiter. It's completely free. And literally to pilot the shuttle, you just need the arrow keys or joystick. And I am currently doing this on purpose to show you how easy it is to pilot. Up, down, left, right. Obviously, I'm failing because of reasons. An advantage, using computers that cost no more than the average desktop, so I'd say about $600 tops, because this thing is a low latency software. Logitech joysticks that are only $30 a piece, which are some of the best joysticks I've ever used. The shuttle simulator is affordable for museums on any budget. An advantages of the simulation that I'm using, Orbiter, is the ability to have displays such as the altimeter on an external screen, as seen above. The shuttle simulator would take advantage of it and display data on screens that are in the exact same locations as ones on the actual space shuttle. Exhibit location. The exhibit is capable of being in any room that is at least 15 feet wide. A staple of many museums, flight simulators are enjoyable by people of many ages. The St. Louis Science Center is the prime location in St. Louis for this type of exhibit. Other local museums that can accommodate this attraction are the Greater St. Louis Air and Space Museum and the Space Museum in Bonne Terre, Missouri. Above, you see a mock-up that I created up where the floor would be a runway type thing, and the back of the shuttle is like a vinyl print of the bottom tiles. 2 seats for 2 pilots, and etc. I chose the blue because every time I go to NASA, the rooms are lit kind of like a darkish blue because of space. It's very cool, actually, if you've ever been. Start screen. This displays on the center panel, which briefly I showed up here. And as you can see, everything's been greatly simplified. I photoshopped this. This took me forever to Photoshop. As you can see in the top, you have 2 monitors. I was originally thinking about using the windows as monitors, but that would limit you to 1 pilot, and that would cost more. So where the heads-up displays are, you have 2 monitors that mimic the heads-up display, 1 for each pilot. And then you have the center panel. Here's the center panel. This is the screen that pilots would first see. The font used is the same font from the original NASA logo on the first space shuttle. Each button loads up a different scenario based on difficulty. These can be set by the museum. Time of day, weather, and other landing parameters can be modified. The in-flight displays. During flight, displays will be displayed on the internal display. The heads-up display is emulated with a 20-inch monitor. The artificial horizon and altimeter are displayed in the shuttle's main displays, the ones below right here. To the right are the secondary displays. These displays an internal view. That should have said external. These display an additional external view of the shuttle approach, one that would actually not be available to shuttle astronauts while landing, because obviously you're inside it.
Oh.
And then as well as an extra internal view with displays, so extra information up here as well. And so that's what I have so far. And then so you have the NASA logo right there, and then on the 2 screens you have basic flight data. You would have your heads-up display, which mimics what the astronauts would see, and they would be on a straight approach to the runway. They would take and control the joystick.
Okay. What do you guys have to say first before I say anything?
I have a feeling you have a lot to say, Julie.
No, I don't have that much, but I'm curious to hear what other people have to say first.
Get off my screen share. There we go.
I like it. Is there, with the kids, is there any cost to it or anything? Like, I could see this in the museum and kids just, like, rushing it and it kind of turning into a mess. Or is there, like, some kind of organization to it where...
It's just a seat and a joystick. Is in, like, I actually, every time I've seen a flight simulator, it's actually kept very clean. They take really good care of these things.
That's good. I can just see, like, my son sitting there and not getting up, like me having to go tell him, like, okay.
Well, they're really...
I think that because of the physical aspect of this, it's like a space shuttle model. I think what Jenna is trying to say is that her 7-year-old's going to want to get in there, and you're saying, well, this is for 10 plus. How will...
I mean, that's just the recommended. If he wants to get in there and try to fly, he can. I've seen little kids. I mean, it's made out of metal, I mean, if it gets scratched up, a lot of it's decals, a lot of it's vinyl print. So if it gets scratched up, that can just be touched up. But every time I've seen it, I've seen them in very nice condition. I've worked with people who work on these things, and they're always kept very nice, and they're always maintained well. So I think it'll be in good hands. And actually,
the other argument that I have for you is it looks like you're taking something that exists and just wrapping it around. Putting a space shuttle model around it, like this simulation software.
Well, yeah, but the point is, well, that's the thing. Whenever you're playing it on your phone or on your computer, you don't get the feel of being in the space shuttle. You're just looking at a screen. Right.
Well, I think that you can propose other enhancements that will help.
Well, I could do motion. But the thing is, you said one of the requirements of this was to make it affordable. And to add a whole motion thing with pistons would be very difficult.
Oh, it could be installed in any museum, but I don't think that this needs to be packed up and moved every few weeks.
I know that, but you said one of the things that needed to be done is for it to be affordable, and for the fact that not every museum can afford a motion simulator, and the reason why it made it non-motion.
Hey Zach, just listen for a second. You're cutting out a lot, so it's really hard to hear you. But that's not even necessarily what I'm saying. Perhaps you could integrate another dimension of information. So you have the main screen where you see where you're going, but maybe there are other screens.
There are other screens.
Excuse me?
There are other screens. That was the whole part of my proposal.
Oh, I didn't quite understand that then. That's not that I think you need to make a stronger argument in your proposal as to why this is going to be an enhanced experience, bigger and better than what you could experience at home playing this on your own computer.
As stated, maybe I was cutting out when I said that. The heads-up display will be emulated with a 20-inch monitor. Below it, the artificial horizon and altimeter will be in the shuttle's main displays in the same position where they are in the real shuttle.
Okay, so those are electronic. Those are.
Yeah. The thing about Orbiter is that you can have external displays. You can have a window of each of the different instruments, which makes it easier than having to build something custom. And then on the right, you have the external view, and then you have some more data shown down here. The main part of this is is feeling like you're in a space shuttle. You can take control, and then you can. And I simplified it. Like, I removed all the switches painstakingly with Photoshop. And God, that was.
Maybe, Zach, you need more of a statement up front that says this is what you're doing is taking this and adding many more dimensions of information to give it a much more realistic feel.
I said that. I did. I said for the simulation, the cockpit of the space shuttle has been greatly simplified.
That's not what I'm saying. You need to explain this. We're taking this existing simulation software. I don't see that in your writing, and adding other displays to provide a much more realistic and multi-dimensional experience or something like that. It's just not clear.
That literally was this paragraph that I highlighted.
Do you see what I'm saying?
That was literally this paragraph, Julie.
It's not, Zach. I'm reading it. You're not saying. You need to fess up to the fact that this is this orbiter system, but it's not. I mean, you're not selling it. You're not selling it as like, yeah, this is going to be much more realistic because I'm adding all of these other dimensions of information. You're just telling me there's this cheap program that you can use and there's an ability to have more displays. But what are those displays? Why are we, why is this better than on a home computer? I think you need to make a stronger, clearer argument is what I'm trying to say.
I don't see where you're coming from, just because I'm saying, because you're in the space shuttle. How can you get more dimensional than that?
No, that game, from what I understand, that game is just one screen, right? You can only see one point of view at one time, right?
Yes.
Right. So
they have add-ons that you can change that.
Okay, that's not in your writing. What I want you to say is that this particular...
It says right here, the advantage of the Orbiter Simulator is the ability to have displays on an external screen.
You cannot see the external screens when you're playing at home on a personal computer. So this particular device, this particular interface will allow the player to see all of these extra dimensions of information at the same time. Something that's not possible on a home computer. Do you understand what I'm saying here?
I guess.
I think you need to sell your concept a little bit more clearly. This is a much more realistic experience because you're going to be interacting with some of the controls that are very similar. You know, you don't have a control at home that feels like the control that they have on the space shuttle.
Well, I do, but that's because I'm a nerd.
Do you know what I'm saying? The chair style, all of these hardware and physical components and extra screens are what's going to give it this rich experience. And that's what I want you to be communicating to the museum. I would read this as a museum curator and be like, wait, you want me to build this big old thing to be able to display some $30 software? Really? That's what I'm trying to get you to counter with your argument.
All right.
You see what I mean?
All right.
Okay, I'm going to move over to Brittany unless you girls, ladies, have anything else to say about Zach's piece.
No, I mean, I pretty much agree with what you all said. I mean, I think it seems like a really interesting concept. I mean, I think kids would enjoy it. So, but I mean, I agree with what the others said too.
Oh, one thing I thought about too, for those, and I thought about this with Jenna's piece, when you mentioned ages 5 to 10, there's a huge range of reading levels in that particular group. Some 5-year-olds can't read a lick. So you're going to need to make your interface very symbol dependent, or you're going to have to say my target audience is first grade reading level and above, or something like that. Just make the call so that your design and your interface matches who your audience is, what you've defined your audience to be.
Okay.
Okay. All right, Brittany, I'm going to jump over to you.
Okay.
So, Zach, did you release the screen?
How do I release the screen?
Stop sharing?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Just let me know. Oh, you ready, Brittany?
Yeah, I don't know. I think I did it right. I don't know if you can see my screen.
Oh, this is your first project.
It is. Like, I wanted to present it because really didn't present any of it. So
Yeah.
And then next week I'll present my second project, if that works.
Sure.
Okay. So just to refresh everyone's memory, because you probably forgot, it's been a while, but my first project was a nonprofit organization called Table Wisdom, and it brought older American adults with English language learners for mentoring sessions and English conversations. Description of the project, I just did that. It's based in St. Louis. The target audience are older Americans who are possibly retired and or looking for hobbies, and English language learners wanting to become more fluent in the English language. And the expected outcomes was to provide a clean and efficient website for potential mentors and students to navigate with ease. And Table Wisdom will gain more visitors to their website and mobile app. Visitors of the website mobile will be able to find the information they need about the nonprofit organization and how to sign up. The website and mobile app will be responsive so visitors can navigate. The first step of the project will be creating a flow chart, then the wireframes, mock-ups, blah, blah, blah. So anyway, I'll just scroll down. This is the flow chart, the home, about us, success stories, press, and join us, and then the sub-pages. Below about us, our mission, impact, staff, and more information. And below the join us, a student page, mentors, employment, and contact.
Not good.
And this is the homepage wireframe. So I would have the logo up here, contact information in the upper right-hand corner, nav bar, and an image here with some text, and it'll be like a slider, so the text will have a slider on it. And then to learn more information, they can put their name, email, phone, and then a message. And then in the footer, a social media link. And the lower level frame, this is a success stories page. Again, the logo is on top, contact information, upper right hand corner, the nav bar, and then the success stories, there will be an image right here, and then the mentor or student quotes will be right here, and it'll be a slider, so it'll slide, and then a story from a current mentor and student's relationship, and then the bottom, or the footer, the social media links. And this is the mobile wireframe. This is the home page. The logo's up here. Similar to the desktop, there'll be an image and well, I don't think there wasn't a slider in this one. And then up here is like you click, you touch it, and then the menu comes down, and then learn more, and then footer right here. And then success stories, pretty similar to the desktop. I have logo, menu, and then there's mentor and student quotes and story from the current mentor. And this is the interface design for the web page, for the home page. Let's see. So this is where we would have the slider. So it would have this, and then the next one would say like join us, and you can click on it and it can take you to the join us page. And then the next one would say like about a mentor quote, and then you can learn more, and that could take you to the success page. And then down here is the contact, how you can contact us. And then this is a success story interface page or interface design. I have an image, and then there's a quote from a student, and there would be a slider, so it would slide to the next quote of a mentor, and then the next one would be a student, and so on and so forth. And then this is the story between a mentor and a student. It's actually a real story, and it's the mentor's Fred, and his student was Helen, and so it would just have the story about them. And then this is the mobile design, the home page. So the menu's right up at the upper right-hand corner. And then the image and the text here, how to contact us, and social media links. And then this is the success story page, pretty similar to the desktop. You can just kind of see. And then this is the second design for the homepage. I didn't really change that much except the logo. So it's pretty much the same, except instead of the contact at the bottom, there was a contact button that you could just, press, and it'll take you there. And then success stories, didn't change too much, the logo. And then instead of having the story down here, I had join our team. So you can click this, become a student, or apply for employment, or become a mentor, whichever one you're looking for. And then this is the second mobile design. This is pretty much the same. Logo's different. And instead of having the contact information, we would have our mission down there. And then success stories, second design, similar to the desktop. This is pretty much the same. Logo's different, and join our team instead of the success story. And that's it.
Okay, what do you guys think?
I think I like the second mobile just a little bit better, because the success story would be kind of hard to read on a mobile.
Yeah.
In the first one, the text is going to get really small. I think I had a lot of text on mine when I did my mobile, and I had to kind of remove it and condense everything.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I agree. I think that the size that the text is, even in this quote that you're showing right now, is really small on a mobile device. But on that one version that you had, where it's all that text at the bottom, it was really, really, really tiny.
I did not give you permission to use my name or quote. I'm sorry.
If you go back up can you go back up to one of your interface designs where, keep going up.
Am I Zachary's student?
Wait,
No, it's a different Zachary.
Sure. I want
First of all,
royalties.
what, I want to show you, oh, wait, keep putting your project up.
I think she's gone.
Ah, crap. Well, we'll wait for her to come back. Oh, there you go.
Are you recording this?
Yeah.
I actually have to get going. So
Okay, all right.
Sorry about leaving early.
That's okay. Let's go back to Brittany. Brittany, can you pull your work back up?
Yeah, sorry, it cut out for a second.
It's okay.
Okay, can you see it now?
No, you need to share your screen again, I think.
Oh, okay.
What I was going to say is there was one interface where you had the story that spanned the entire width of the screen.
Uh-huh.
And in a responsive site, that's going to get really, really, really long. And all of that text generally, I mean, it's going to be very difficult to read, and people don't tend to want to read all of that text. Generally, what you see a lot online is maybe the first couple of sentences, and then I'll say read more. Or what I was thinking, so you might use that block of content in 1/3, and then maybe some other, or story, then the option to read more, because people's eyes are going to want to go jump to, what is it I'm looking for? What is it of interest? Or think about using a pull quote. So like the most compelling 91-year-old Holocaust survivor, loves this relationship, or something. Like pull it out and make that orange and bold, so that it attracts somebody's attention and wants to get them to learn a little bit more.
Right. I'm having a problem like sharing my screen. It's like not letting me.
Did you go to do your entire screen when you did share screen?
No, I just shared the document.
So hit screen share and then do entire screen.
It's saying when I push screen share, it says screen sharing failed to start. No session to start screencast with.
Oh, okay. Well, let's not worry about it now. Already made a lot of comments on your document online.
Yeah.
I think the biggest thing the biggest weakness of the project, well, I think your flowchart is awesome. And I think one of the reasons why it looks so nice is because of your sensitivity to the line weight versus the type. And I wish you could see this, Jenna, but you did a really nice job of toning down those lines and really make the sections stand out.
Mm-hmm.
And then where there's an interface where you have a form at the bottom of it.
Yeah.
And the lines look so thick and clunky, and I'm like, make it look like the flowchart. That looked so elegant and modern.
Yeah. Okay.
And I think that color combination is great, and you're doing a nice job of repeating that orange and turquoisey color throughout the interface, so it's feeling very cohesive. But the idea for the second interface set is to propose something very different looking. I think a client would look at these two options and be like, okay, so show me what's different, and then if you have a client that's like, I don't really like so much orange, you really haven't presented anything all that different.
Right.
Maybe you want to stick with the color scheme because it's because that's part of their logo, that's part of their brand identity. But then maybe you want to try something really white and gray and neutral and only use a tiny bit of orange and turquoise for the accent colors. So there are ways to still use those colors, but still make it look very different. Use different typefaces. Use different treatments of the different elements in the interface. So I would have liked to see your two interface designs be much more different, so that you're giving someone like something different to look at. Like, well, I like the typeface on that one, but I like the way that you've done that on that one. That's usually what happens.
Okay. Yeah.
But I think that I think you have, I think portions of this could be a really nice portfolio piece.
Okay, cool. That sounds good. Thank you.
No problem. So Jenna, did you have any more?
No, I think it's good. I just, like I said, I did the same thing with the text. So, but all your stuff was great too. I like how you mentioned to, use different colors completely on the the second design because I think I did that in mine too.
Yeah, you really did. You really went for a different look in your second set. I remember, you know. Okay, guys. Well, thanks for joining. I'll go ahead and put the video online and make sure I update everybody's grades. So I'll just see you on Tuesday, and I'll call you guys all in on the Google thing.
Sounds good.
Oh,
Thanks.
great. Thank
Okay.
you.
Bye.